So the visa for students generally need the approval of the aliens authority in Germany. That means we have to send the applications to Germany, and it normally takes some weeks, 4 to 8 weeks, until we will have the approval. Of course, for students, there are some exceptions. The so-called Schweigefristverfahren. I think for this there is no translation into English. I will try to translate you that. In this case, we don't need to wait for the approval of the aliens authority. We just send the visa application to them and wait after that for 3 weeks. If we in that time do not receive any answer from the aliens authority, so the case is granted. They will only give us an answer if they have any objections. In this case, of course, the application is blocked, and we have to solve or to see what are the objections and to pick it up with you as the applicant, and find a solution. As a student, of course, you need to, for your applications, you need to give us some information, some papers. Of course, you need the approval of the German university. And you have to have the sufficient means of subsistence there. That means you have to, normally, you have to have a blocked account. I think you heard about this procedure. I cannot tell you much about this procedure because this is a thing of the bank. Normally in Chennai or in India, I don't know, it generally makes the Deutsche Bank. I did not hear yet if any other bank do offer this kind of account. So if you need to know more about that, so please contact the bank directly, not us. In general, that means that you have to pay on this account a monthly amount of currently 659 euros for 1 year in advance. And this amount will be blocked, that you can only withdraw from this account this monthly amount. There are, of course, other ways to prove that you have sufficient means of subsistence. Means, for example, you may have a sponsor. The sponsor may live in India. He or she also may live in Germany. In this case, we need a so-called formal obligation. This is a special paper from the German Aliens Authority. What this sponsor has to fill in and send to us. They will check if he has enough money. Of course, another important thing is your knowledge, language knowledge. The studies in Germany generally are either in German or in English. So it depends in what language your course is hold. You need to prove sufficient knowledge in language. For English, it is the so-called IELTS certificate. I think you heard about it. And for German language, it would be the Goethe certificate. I think B1 is sufficient here. But I think most of you are interested in English courses, I think, Is that right? These are the basics in the visa procedure for students. And now I'm waiting for your questions. Yes. You need the IELTS when you apply, in the moment when you apply already for the visa. If you don't have this certificate or other certificates, the visa application cannot be processed. We can send it already in advance to the aliens authority, but then they will wait for the certificate until they give us the approval. So it is mandatory. But you have to prove your English knowledge, and therefore we can only accept some kind of certificate, and we regularly only accept the IELTS. Yeah. It's the same, for example, the proof for German language knowledge. We only accept the Goethe certificates. Yeah. I never had a case where the university did not want to have this proof. Yeah. If maybe there is such a case, of course, the university would have to explain to us why. Yeah. Because normally it is mandatory. There would be maybe one case or one reason if you want to make the language course before your studies in Germany. This is also possible. But then you have to apply for a combined visa, that you first of all make your language course in Germany, but I think this is only for studies in German language. Yeah. I don't think that you should make or could make an English course in Germany. Yeah. Yeah. So if it's a course held in English language, I think you should prove, or you have to prove the knowledge in advance by these certificates. In these cases, we can report this to the aliens authority, and in the end they have to decide. At the consulate, you only need to show the first year. So this is what also the aliens authority needs to see. What happens from the second year on, this is, of course, you have to put the amount also on the account, but this will be checked by the aliens authority, because at that moment you are already for 1 year in Germany, and so this is not more our case, so you are in contact there with the aliens authority. If the person is in India, it's of course a little more difficult, because in this case the consulate or the embassy has to check it, and we have no big possibilities to check. We just maybe we can check their bank accounts, you know, their statements, but we are not aware if these are true statements or if they are forged or something like this. So that's why I recommend either to have this block account or to have a sponsor in Germany. Because also if we have doubts about this documentation, we could check, of course, the certificates, the bank statements, and this would, of course, take time. Yeah, so it would take maybe several weeks, and already the studies in Germany are beginning, and the student does not yet have his visa. So I would not recommend this kind. Yeah. Generally several weeks, so it may take up to 8 weeks. Sometimes, if there have things to be checked, even longer. So because of this, there is the so-called Schweigefristverfahren, what I mentioned before, that, but this we can only use in these cases where the documentation is clear. Then we send it with a remark Schweigefrist to the aliens authority, and then we just wait 3 weeks. And if we don't get any answer in this period from the aliens authority, the visa is approved. In these cases, the aliens authority just gives a reply if they have any objections. You know, we always need some kind of certificate or documentation of your language knowledge. Yeah. So, as we mentioned before, maybe the best is always the IELTS or the other one, the TOPFL, I think it's called. But if you have other certificates, of course, you can give us them, but always the aliens authority will decide. So, maybe they have questions about it, and so it could take longer. Yeah, but of course we accept any documentation. Yeah, The certificate B1. Yes, B1 is at least what you need to have in German language. Only a Goethe certification. Of course, there are some special cases. For example, if you have the German A level, or you have the German language diploma, the DSD, German Sprachdiplom. I don't know. Do you know this? Yeah, it's DSD 2. Yeah, and these are. But I think these are special cases. What would not affect you? Yeah, I think for you, German is a language what you would like, what you would learn here at the Goethe institutes, and this is the certificate what we would accept. I don't know if there are any other good possibilities to learn German here. I don't know. Yeah. So I think best, of course, you can make a German language course before in another institute, but at least the test you should make at the Goethe, that you get this certificate. Because it's always the problem if you have another certificate, maybe we can accept it. We would send it to the Aliens Authority, but they would have maybe requests, so it would stop your application and you would lose time. Studying here in Hyderabad, yeah? How many years are you already here? Yeah, and how long is your Indian visa still valid? Yes, in this case, if your visa is still valid and you live here and you are studying still here, you can of course apply here in Chennai, yeah, in this case. It's a special problem. I think it is with Iran, yeah? Yeah. I cannot say anything about these cases. You have to check with the bank, or maybe with the culture department of the embassy in Delhi. Maybe they have some solution, or maybe, of course, with the DAAD. I cannot give you any answer on this. Rejected Schengen visa in your passport has no effect on the visa application for the student visa. Of course, we will have a look why the rejection happened and so on, but it has no direct effect. Generally, before the semester starting, winter and also in March, we have a heavy demand, and so please apply for the visa as early as you can, because of course we are rising our number of slots when the semester begins, but in the end it is never sufficient. So please try to apply as early as you can.